Welcome to Season 8 of Comic Book Nation, the only show that does it all for geek culture and the official podcast of Comicbook.com. I am your host, Kofi Outlaw, and with me today are my co-hosts, Matthew Aguilar, Janelle Wheeler, and Mr. Evan Valentine. What's up, everybody? What's up?
Happy New Year.
Happy New Year. We are here. Everybody's here. Not everybody made it, but we are thankful. Knock on wood. We are all here. We are all together, and we are in our 8th season of this show. It's crazy that we've done this so many times and for so long that I didn't even register that we were going to be starting season 8 today. I was just like, well, another Friday, another pod. But yes, this is season 8. And if you are just joining us today, if you are hopping in because you're picking up new podcasts, welcome to Comic Book Nation, and just some quick background about us, as we should do at the start of the season. My name is Kofi Outlaw. I have been at Comicbook.com for going on about 10 years now, which is crazy. And before this, I was one of the pioneer boys who helped make ScreenRant.com, this modern form of blogging, and yes, even these podcasts we are doing now. Shout out to the old Screen Rant Underground podcasts. But since I've been here, one day I got seated in the offices at Comic Book across from a guy who I was steadily harassing. And then instead of going to HR, I was like, you want to do this podcast? And he was like, sure. And that was Mr. Matthew Aguilar. Matt, tell us a little bit about yourself. Then we're going to pass the ball, give some quick introductions, and then we'll get into our show. He's muted. You're showing 8 seasons of experience.
Yeah, it really is nice. I've been at Comic Book a long time now. it's been a while. Yeah, we've been covering comics, TV, movie, all that stuff. And then I think that was actually a quote when you quoted me. I think when you were like, "Hey, do you want to do the pod?" And I was like, "Sure, yeah, that sounds good. That sounds fun." And then we used to cover news. Me and Kofi were the only people in the office. And we would cover news like at 8, 9 at night. those were different days. Those were different days then. But come a long way. This is an awesome show. I love that we are on to season 8. Can't believe it. And yeah, excited to be here.
You vaguely said stuff. You killed that. You killed that intro with
thank you.
Vagueness about yourself. We've learned several key things here. Janelle Wheeler, you want to go?
Yes. Hi, everybody. I am your well-rounded nerd friend who does a lot of the things, and now is a comic book reader and a wrestling fan because of this podcast. So I'm very grateful for that. I've been at Comic Book since 2016. I just had to look it up, which is wild because I was brought on as a host and to do like some on-camera work for one of the shows that they were doing called After the Dead, about The Walking Dead, because I was a super fan about The Walking Dead. And I actually had to audition, and that was quite a fun. They scouted all over Nashville, and I happened to get the role, and it was very exciting. And my nerd expansion program started the minute I started at Comic Book. And I do recall you guys, I think it was you. I remember we would film on Sunday nights after the live shows. And I remember coming to the office and there were like people who were watching wrestling and reporting in the office on a Sunday night. And I was like, man, y'all are going like, this is a lot of work, and you're not during work hours. Like, you're putting in the work. So I feel like everyone at Comic Book works really, really hard, and it's always been really fun to watch everyone kind of do their thing. So yeah, I love it. I love all the nerd stuff. And I'm here.
Like time we could dominate all the TVs.
Yeah. Yes.
Every single TV was a pay-per-view.
I wonder what happened to that weird couch.
Man.
Oh yeah, we don't know what happened to it.
Off our couch.
It was in the Paramount offices for years. Yeah, season 8 rule. You are no longer allowed to tell any new geek narratives. That's we're dead in things.
You're
in
right.
2026.
Yeah. No, I hear you. I hear you loud and clear.
Not just because you've been on this podcast for so long, but because as I feel like it's been bullshit that every time we talk to you every year, we open some door and then you start telling us some crazy story about how you were like deeply involved in some kind of fandom or like Forrest Gump style, we're like at the place where things happened in history, and we're like, oh yeah, I told Bob Ross to paint that tree, and then like you're like, huh. It's just yeah. So like we find out more and more and more, and then like it's like, yeah, you have a whole cosplay, right? And then like, and it's like, yeah,
I cosplay. Thank you. I just brought myself out for that. I'm bringing that back this year too. 2026. I'm bringing back my cosplays. I had too much fun this Halloween.
Boom.
Yes.
Hey, no, get it. I mean, get everybody involved, get the whole fam involved. But yeah, then it's just like we find out you didn't read X-Men, and that was like your non-geekness. So
as I'm currently trying to find the leaked X-Men trailer, like
yeah,
right
and
now.
you don't know, and you didn't know like how to explain how Cable was born, and that was like our running gag at the time. But
that's an impossible.
Now all times have changed. So here we are. All right, Mr. Evan Valentine, close it out real quick with your intro, and then we got to get into the show and give the people what they actually came for.
Hey, everybody, I'm Evan Valentine. I've been with the site for 7+ years now. Man, time flies. I have been a giant geek since, this is a true story, since my parents accidentally bought me The Dark Knight Returns when I was 5. You should, because it had Batman on the cover, and I was like, this is really cool. And I'm way too young to be reading this. But yeah, I love all things nerd and geek, Marvel. Primarily on the site, I work on the anime side of things, so I'm happy to introduce my co-hosts to everything anime, which I will do a little bit later today as kind of a preview of things to come this year. So yeah, happy to be here. Wow. Cheers, everybody.
Cheers. Happy New Year, everyone.
All right, that's all you're getting from us about this, about us for the entirety of this season. I hope you enjoyed that. Yeah, it's the only time we'll be doing personal bios. Otherwise, we'll be doing what we do best, which is covering all things geek culture. And today we have plenty for you to talk about. Oh my God, why do they make me sign into like 50 things on Google these days? We're going to be talking about our hype meter for 2026. Obviously, we've got, did I even put the Stranger Things in here? Did I put it in the rundown?
Yes, you did. I saw it. Okay. I seen it.
Sometimes I'm doing these like late at night and my brain it just has whatever.
I done saw it.
Done seen it. Look good. All right, so I did get that. Okay, cool. Today we're going to be talking about the Stranger Things finale. Obviously, got to start the year out with that. We are also going to be doing our 2026 hype meter, where each of us picked 3 things from the upcoming year we wanted to put a spotlight on for you. And there's one obvious one we're just going to talk about up front and get that out of the way and just discuss how we feel about that one thing. Let's see if you guys can guess. Otherwise, we got a little bit of geek news to get through. Matt always has an agenda. If you don't know this show, Matthew Aguilar always has a treasure trove of some deep geek stuff that he's going to nerd out about. And, we like to, at the end of the show, it's like, you gotta let him off the leash and run around the park. You right. You gotta let him go nuts because, good. It's all good. So we're going to let Matt do his thing. And if you're just joining the show, stick around for that. All right. But up front, we got to talk about the biggest thing happening in geek news as we start the year. Janelle?
Yeah, we have another one of these.
You guys, hey, this is season 8. You guys got to be quick. We got to be quick. Everybody's like, we got dead air responses. Everybody wake up. Wake it up. I'm going to start getting manic here in a second.
I'm really curious what you guys are going to say. Like, I'm just so curious because we talked about this before. We're going to keep talking about this. We're talking about the Avengers Doomsday trailers and how they're dropping, and they officially dropped the Thor trailer. We already obviously talked about our Captain America trailer, and I was very taken aback by Kofi's takes on this, and which leads me to I don't even have an opinion at this point. I'm so curious what you guys thought about this Thor trailer, because for me, it was lackluster and confusing. And what are we doing here? Now, you guys have seeped into my soul. I'm not appreciative anymore.
Whoa, first of all, wow, there's so many things to unpack here. So many toxic traits. 2026, we cleaning up the toxicity. That's what we're doing. Whole different vibe this year. 2025 was toxic overload, so we got to clean some of this out.
I like that.
First of all, don't try to Uno reverse this on us. What was your opinion, Mel, about like what you
Well, okay,
about what you thought about this trailer?
The Captain
what
America with the baby
you have an interesting
thing.
discussion if you just have the courage to step into it here. I think
the Captain America baby thing hit really hard for me. I was very excited. I thought it was impactful. This did not hit for me because I've seen him so silly in so many releases. He's been a silly bean that I can't take him seriously. Like, he's pleading with Odin in this, and I'm waiting for like something funny to happen. Because that's become who Thor is. Like, Thor is now like a cheeky little dude, or nice little cheeky huge dude. And so it didn't feel authentic to the Thor that they have now like structured in past projects. Now, obviously, there's many layers to everyone, and I understand that. I think the monologue didn't do for me what they wanted it to do. It didn't move me. Obviously, his relationship with the daughter moves me, but the presentation, the way that they did it, it didn't do a lot for me. And I'm still I have so many questions, and it's not like fun questions. It's just like, what is happening? It's not, let's deep dive and pick this apart. And it's more of just like, what are we doing? What are we doing?
Okay, see? That's why you guys see? Now that you just torched that whole thing. That was great. That was good.
I'm sorry for doing that.
No, stop doing that, man. Like, we got to get you to get those cojones. Find your cojones. Like, that was good.
Okay.
No, but that's fair. And see, this is an interesting discussion, because now we've passed like ships in the night. I dug this one way more than the Cap one. I thought
that's awesome.
The Cap one was just kind of relying on the empty symbolism of Chris Evans coming back and holding a baby. It was like, if I had cut an AI commercial that said, give me an Avengers commercial with Captain America that's going to make people feel stuff, like, that's what the AI would have given me.
That's a really good point.
This I enjoyed a whole lot more, because I think you're right about where Thor is, but I think Thor is the most dynamic character in this franchise. He's changed the most. We've seen him get the most spotlight, change the most, go through all these phases. Because remember, even though, we laughed about it in Endgame a little bit, like, that is a serious, deeply kind of like messed up Thor when he's like big Thor and going through all that, and he meets his mom again, and when they go on the time heist. So I'm not mad at that, because I've wanted to get back to that Kenneth Branagh Shakespearean Thor that we started with. I actually dug that. I actually liked that movie. If they had kept most of that movie in Asgard, and it had been like just a whole Shakespearean Game of Thrones drama, I don't think we were ready for that back then. But like, that would have been dope. Like, instead of the fish out of water, earth stuff, which I get. But I'm not mad about going back there. I think this one worked for me because of, I think what the Captain America one lacked was the danger, right? There was no threat. It was just like, hey, Captain America's coming back. It's like, okay. But it didn't feel like there was anything in peril. Like, we are supposed to associate, oh, he has a baby now, so he's going to be fighting for a baby. Cool. This one, I think, when I've seen the effect through the fandom, is like, this one indirectly makes you do this thing where you go, whoa, what makes a god kneel down and start praying? And you're like, oh, it's a good little ominous way of beginning to build up this kind of, and they're doing it slowly, about how much of a threat Doom is, what is at stake here, why everybody from all of these universes, and we're going to get into this in a second, are ready to go balls to the wall out in this, and how desperate they're all going to be. And I like that. Like, that's the part I got from this. And it's also like, this one's deeply meta. Like, if you know, like, this one's kind of like deeply meta. Like, this is Chris Hemsworth. That's his real daughter on screen, right? Like that. And if you haven't seen the things, people have been doing these collages, who he's brought to every single one of these sets that he's ever been on. And, from Thor 1, and now she's grown up, and like, Chris Hemsworth is facing real life health issues. He doesn't know even how long he may be like he might be in a Bruce Willis state in another 10 years, 20 years. He's kind of has a real doomsday clock like hanging over him. So as a dad, this one for me as a dad, and I think maybe, Jenna, we're just in different places. Like you are with a little man, like I'm with kids who are now growing up into adolescence. And I've been using this phrase around my house a lot. Like everything kind of shifted for me last year when I, because of things that had happened to people around me, friends, peers, things like that. You realize that at like 44, 45, you're in what I call drop dead age. I think that was Bill Burr who said that. I'm not going to steal from a comedian, but that Bill Burr comedy special obviously messed me up because it's true. Like people drop now, like from heart attacks or aneurysms or whatever it is. It's not out of the bounds of, it's not out of bounds for us at this age. And that changes everything about your perspective, about your kids, about life, about like what you want. Yeah, I understand finding religion and just being like, God, time, please, health, please, like, all that stuff. And so this one kind of struck me on that dad level for where I am, and just being like, especially when you're thinking like, oh my God, is like, are we gonna hold together here, world? Or are we good? Like, I got kids. Like, are we going to hold this together, guys? Like, I get Thor picking up that axe and a hammer again and being like, yo, I thought I was in my dad era. I thought I was done with all this, but holy shit, I got to get out here and fight for my kid to have a better world. Like, I get that. And so this one really hit me. And I think I'm going to be like locked into Thor stakes because I wrote this trailer up. And when I wrote about it is, there's a lot out there. If you look on Reddit, there's a lot of plot leaks, but I think I've narrowed down some of the real stuff for this movie. And I think that Thor is going to there's a lot at play, not just with Thor, but in Thor's universe. There's all of these things at play. He has a daughter, right? His brother sitting on the tree of life. Like there's all this stuff going on for Thor that could be a really kind of powerful story. And I think that from the looks of this trailer, that's obviously going to be a focus of this movie. And I'm here for it. I'm here for Thor finally getting to do something besides be comedic relief and or just like the power player who gets moved to the side because he's too powerful, like for the rest of the things. I think this is going to be a good Thor story. And then we know about Secret Wars, right? And we know kind of like how integral Thor is to that. So I am here for this one.
And so what a 180. That's great. Okay, so here's the thing, Evan, is there something you really want to talk about on the Thor trailer? Because if you do, I'll go last because I want to get to the next thing.
Oh no, yeah,
sure.
I'm holding back. Yeah, we can bring the next thing in whenever.
Okay,
I
do go together.
I do actually want to talk about the Thor thing because I think Janelle, you brought up a really good point, which is the idea of like Thor has, in a way, for like, because I'm a big Thor guy. I have a poster right there of Chris Hemsworth's Thor. But one of the things that I felt kind of they lost the plot with the Odin Son was I don't know how everybody felt about Love and Thunder here. For me, it was something that I had been waiting to see, which is Jason Aaron created this comic book that was all about Gore the God Butcher, which is one of the greatest Thor comic books ever made. And when I heard that they originally cast Christian Bale, I was like, oh my God, this is going to be like the best Thor movie. The Jane Foster storyline was also from Jason Aaron, and that one was really amazing. And I felt that the movie kind of whiffed on both. And it made and even in interviews, Chris Hemsworth said,
it's been long enough. Let's be honest here. Can we 2026? It's time for the light of truth.
Yeah, Love and Thunder is
Taika
terrible.
Waititi.
I thought this was pretty honest.
Taika Waititi did not respect Jason Aaron's material.
Oh yeah, no, and like I don't know if anybody has tried rewatching that, but I really did try rewatching it last year, and I had to stop right at the moment where Sif is bleeding out on the ground and Thor is cracking jokes about it, and it's just like so hey, maybe your arm is in Valhalla, and I was just like, why is he this is so not the time for jokes about it, even though like some of the jokes are okay, I guess. But one of the things that I wanted to mention about this trailer specifically, and why I'm on Team Kofi when it comes to, I like this a lot better than the Captain America one, because this is a return to form for me for Thor. Because if folks remember from Infinity War, Thor was an emotional mess, and it was a great way to see the character because his like, you know, Heimdall died, Loki died, he lost like his people again. He was gunning for revenge against Thanos. It was really fantastic to see him like that. And for the first time, really, I thought the Russos really nailed the power level of Thor because that was something that I hadn't really seen in the movies beforehand, was him bringing down the alien ships and everything with Stormbreaker and all that. I thought was really amazing. But the idea of this solemn, you know, Thor who is also, you know, he has, it really hit me in terms of, I thought it hit me far more than this Chris Evans one, because he's talking about, you know, he's Shakespearean Odin's son. He's the Shakespearean thunder god here, where he's talking about he has a daughter now, and she doesn't know the thunder, and he's trying to make sure that he creates a world where she doesn't know war. And that's like really, that's a really heartfelt, like that really got me. And in terms of like, there's no action in this trailer. You just see him, you know, pontificating and praying to his father. And I thought that that really worked. And this is like the most exciting thing that I've seen, aside from the other thing that leaked about the upcoming Doomsday. So yeah, that's my thoughts on it. I thought this trailer really worked for me.
I just want to point out too, we're going to get to the next thing right now, but even with the next thing that we saw, and even when we see it officially, I think this is the best shot thing I've seen the Russos put out. Like, this is a beautiful trailer, and like just the shots of Chris Hemsworth and the forest and all that, the cinematography, like it's better than the Captain America one, which looked like weirdly like kind of CGI-ish and stuff. But this one's like all naturalistic, like it looked beautiful. But
okay,
Matt,
let's get to
go
the
ahead.
real show. Okay,
Yeah,
let's get to the real show.
All right, come on.
I don't care about Thor.
You know, a visor is still kind of a partial helmet, Matt.
The reason I am excited, and I saw this turn online. Well, number one, actually, I did see a positive reception to the Thor one too. I saw way more negative to the Cap one than I thought I would, reaction wise, and then I saw more positive to the Cap or to the Thor, and then I saw all of us Scott Summers people, us Cyclops people who have been tortured for years, for almost a decade of almost having something, and then we don't, and then in what must be 10 seconds of actual footage, we get something that looks freaking amazing. And that is Scott Summers, that is Cyclops, quintessential Cyclops costume, mega optic blast. The stakes look crazy, right? What is he fighting? All these stuff, and there's hints of that too. But like, I just thought in what was a pretty much a 30-second snippet there of having like Xavier, Magneto, having that moment, and then having Cyclops, that's just like, that sent me over the moon. I was hyped. I was like, okay, we're in. This is why I care. This is why I care. I like the Cap thing.
No, but
I'm
again,
one of the few that actually like the
building,
Cap thing,
right?
yeah.
This one's
Yes.
more ominous than the Thor one. It keeps building the levels of kind of ominous reveals about like what Doom is. And I'm just gonna, so we can speed this along, I'm gonna wrap in our third point to this topic. We've heard about 4 trailers, right? We've heard Cap, Thor, X-Men, and what's the last one? Does anybody remember what the last one was?
It was supposed, the rumors at first were Cap, Thor, Doom was supposed to have his own trailer. Then it was supposed to be an actual teaser trailer.
I heard rumblings that it was going to be Fantastic Four in Wakanda, but yeah, we'll see.
Oh wait, yes, I have heard that. I have heard the ones like Shuri and Ben Grimm and Namor. Yeah, I've heard. Actually, I've seen clips from that one. I've seen images from that because I've seen Namor in like a jacket and whatnot. Like, yeah, these days it's hard with AI and stuff, but I think I dug deep enough and did find that. So yeah, there's a Wakanda Fantastic Four crossover one, and that would be 4. I think we also are hearing rumors of a 5th. I believe the 5th trailer rumor. It's just me. That I don't have any word. I don't have any industry insight. I'm just saying that, like, I believe they're gonna, judging by how we're kind of doing this in the weeks. I don't know, man. I could see them doing 2 more trailers and then doing. Yeah, I could see upwards of 6. Like, I could see them doing the Fantastic Four Wakanda one for a week, a Doom trailer for a week, and then in the Super Bowl giving you this bigger kind of just sizzle reel teaser of everything together, like all of these people on screen together, or just scenes of various combinations of them going at it, and then just being like Doomsday. And that's like all you would really need to do for the year if you really want to be honest. And I think if they're going to do it, I think they should keep doing it this way. Like, as you market it, okay, that's the Super Bowl trailer. Then throughout the year, you just give us little moments or scenes from the film, like you're doing, that kind of hint. And it can be further along, like little bits that are like hinting at like what the challenge is, what the missions are, how great it is, or moments where they're like, how are we going to pull this off, or stuff like that, you know? And then we just keep teasing us little bits like that. And then just don't even do like too many crazy extensive trailers and ruin too much. But hey, I'm not a guy looking for a job in Marvel marketing. I'm just a guy hosting a podcast. So we're going to see. The Super Bowl is going to be really interesting. Overall, do you guys think this is effective or not? In chat, same question to the chat.
I think that really, I think that the X-Men trailer should just officially release already. I think that part of it, it's just kind of like the reason why we're seeing it in, I think it's called potato cams or whatever, where people take like the shaky cams of of this footage from where they hit theaters, because the X-Men trailer apparently has already aired in some theaters like in other countries or something. But I just release it. Like, I feel like Marvel, with maybe not for everything, but for these specifically, the second that somebody releases a shaky cam, just immediately release an HD version. We'll all see it. We all wanna celebrate Scott Summers finally getting his due in the live action. It's been decades. As Matt, I'm also Team Slim. I think that there's that Cyclops has gotten the short end of the stick for far too long, and this seems like he is going to finally he's finally going to get his
best X-Man. He's the best X-Man.
Well,
and
let's not go nuts. That's Nightcrawler's job.
He's the best.
But, all right, everybody chill. Like, let's stay on topic here.
Best X-Man.
I mean, but this does, I like that each one of these things confirms a whole bunch of other stuff. Now we know that those like set photos we saw of all the costumes were real. Like, yeah, because this was Cyclops' costume in that. And they look good. Nightcrawler, Mystique,
I did want to mention something really quick, is that you can see in the background of and I think a lot of people missed it, you can actually see in the background there's a giant Sentinel slowly walking behind Cyclops. So it's like, wow. Oh, okay.
I know what this is all. I mean, I've taken all these. Look, I've been in a rabbit hole, fools. Like, I've pulled the Reddit correlate. I've been with screens. I've been with trailers on one side, Reddit plot leaks on the other. I've narrowed this down. I think I know the real deal here. But yeah, and I can tell you, if half of what I've seen is real, like, this movie is going to be crazy. If half of what I think is now the real one is real, like, this movie is going to be crazy, including like this scene we are seeing here. Yeah. All right, but I don't want to get into that. I will just say, let's talk a little bit more Marvel, because let's talk about the real trailer that hit this week. Come on, Evan. A real thing that hit this week.
The thing that everybody has been waiting for, and it surely is.
No, I mean, it racked up. Hey, it racked up millions.
That's true. I'm looking at it now. It's over 7.5.
Just saying.
Yeah,
like just saying. Like, so it arguably racked up more than Cap trailer. But
has it? I'm actually gonna have to.
Faster. We're talking about like faster per.
Oh, faster. Oh, okay. Yeah. Oh, yeah. I'll give you that. But anyway, we are talking about Marvel Television's Wonder Man. This is set to release. All 8 episodes are going to drop on January 27th. This, of course, is the story of Simon Williams, a down on his luck actor who is trying to get a role as the fictional character Wonder Man in this. He is going to team up with Trevor Slattery, who, for those who don't remember, that's Ben Kingsley's actor who was originally showed up in Iron Man 3 as the Mandarin, and then would return in Shang-Chi, The Legend of the Ten Rings. It's very funny to me that that Ben Kingsley's character is returning before Shang-Chi does. Oh my God, Marvel, please bring back Shang-Chi for the love of God. But this kind of one of the main things about this trailer that I thought was really important to talk about. This kind of gives us more of a look into the idiosyncratic feel of this series. They're kind of going with some wild new direction for this, but this is the first trailer that kind of shows us that yes, Simon Williams does have superpowers, which is kind of something that obviously, for those who don't know, Wonder Man has long been one of the a member of the Avengers. He showed up super early in their run, but he is one of those main characters that has yet to appear in the MCU. Has a long history with the Vision and Scarlet Witch. It'll be interesting to see if he ever shows up in the movies themselves. But what was everybody else feeling about this? What's the hype level for everybody else when it comes to Wonder Man?
I'm so hyped. I'm so hyped, y'all. I don't even know. This is what I've been wanting to feel.
Wait, weren't you before like what is going on here? Weren't you?
Yes.
What?
Yes.
Okay.
And what I love about this trailer is that it literally is like font spelling out what each person is. Like, it's like, this guy is the director. This guy is a washed up actor. I love this trailer so much because I know everything now. I have so much context, but not too much. I love these actors. Like, I love them together in this trailer. This feels like My Big Fat Greek Wedding meets like Daredevil, but in like a cheeky way. I don't know, y'all. I'm just like,
no, the chat stole my comparison. This is the MCU meets the studio, which is,
oh my gosh, yeah, that's really good. And I just this is exactly what I need as like a grown-up that loves superhero content. That, I mean, I just adore that in the trailer, flat out, they go, this director is fighting superhero fatigue. I just love it. It's so relevant. And the fact that I just know everything from this one trailer just makes me giddy. Like, I can't even tell y'all. And I miss Disney Plus, like superhero shows dropping a lot. I loved that. I mean, I know that it's what I do. And this is like part, like, I know that I'm biased, but I miss a ton of Marvel content. Even if like some things weren't my favorite, we still got things like Moon Knight, and which I adored, and Scarlet Witch I adored, and Loki I adored, and I love What If, and like there's so many things that I love. So I've been kind of like sad thinking, okay, I'm not going to get as much content. And this just blew me away. I just love this. I'm so excited.
I disagree with the chat with this being kind of a weekly release. I don't know if there's going to be enough there, because I don't think this is going to be structured like a cliffhanger. I think it's going to be an arc about, and a kind of funny meta humor, which is kind of something I think you could take at your own pace and kind of sit down and watch in a binge model. I wouldn't mind a batch model, you know me and batch models. But I like this trailer a lot. Like, but I've always been about this since I saw the concept. I kind of saw the vision in the beginning, which is, this is a great kind of meta way to take on Marvel's biggest problems. And I think Marvel's doing this on several levels. I think Doomsday is literally going to be kind of a meta subtext about, hey, this franchise got out of control. It's all over the place. It's so disjointed right now. Somebody needs to pull this back together. And Robert Downey Jr. is the person to do it. So we're going to get Robert Downey Jr. to pull this all back together. And the Russos are going to clean up their time travel shenanigans mess. And I think this one is them getting to speak back to the audience and say, you know, guys, like, this is what you know, here's where we're at. We know what you guys have been saying, but here's some funny stuff. And we can still tell you a superhero story within making fun of you, making fun of us, which is kind of like, I like that. I like that in my comedy. I think this is kind of like more of that, like I said, the studio or like Arrested Development, those kinds of things, which are going to have that kind of dry meta awareness that they're going to be throwing at you. But I like what Janelle said. Like, they obviously, again, even this marketing, they heard what you guys said in the first things. They were trying to be subtle and funny. People were like, I don't know what this is. So they give us a trailer that's just like, this is what this is. Hey, superhero people, this is a story about da 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 and da 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 da. But they do it with the font like it's a comic book, and it's still fun. But I'm here just for the level of sophistication that they're kind of underplaying. Like Yahya Abdul-Mateen has been like killing it in everything from like HBO's Watchmen to the various film roles he plays. And he's on screen with Ben Kingsley, and that's going to be like the, majority of this show is him and Ben Kingsley kind of like palling around. And those are two fantastic actors, just kind of in like an odd pairing we would have never thought of, right? Like just on the screen. I'm there for that as a cinephile. Even the director who's in this is like a famous European actor. Like he's actually like a famous, we know him as a character actor, like, the president in Superman or whatever, but he's a famous European actor too. So even getting him out to do this is a big deal within like the acting community. So this is actually kind of funnily, like, even it's a Marvel product making fun of like superhero shows, this is actually like a kind of high caliber cast. It's kind of a high caliber concept. It's actually kind of really smart. And I like that about it, because that's already a joke within a joke within like a joke, right? It's like, this is some silly stuff, but it's actually made by really highly talented, sophisticated people. And like, I'm going to watch for that. In this trailer, again, it also just gives us, it's like, okay, we know what you really want. Here's some superpower. Here's some purple eyes in a wavy room. And like, here's your superhero shot and slow-mo. And we know what you guys want. So I like the game the show is playing. And I think it's going to be the thing that we desperately actually need from Marvel again. That 3-letter word, F-U-N, right? Just some fun. And something fun and funny we can talk about with references and Easter eggs we can talk about. And, I'm here for it to start off the year. It looks like a more fun start to Echo, and that's no shade to Echo. It's just like, this one will be fun. And even Daredevil to a certain extent, right? Like, it's going to be more fun than that.
Well, yeah, that's those two are super serious, right? Yeah, I don't want to yuck anyone's yum, so I will say I am not super high on this. It's just not. I don't know if it's going to be a thing if it's not for me, or
I
if
feel
it's
like you're going to end up being the one who likes it the most.
I probably will. Like I can see that happening. It's
down.
just not on my. These trailers aren't doing it for me. I'm not a big Wonder Man fan either. So like it's not even just all about the show. I think the cast is excellent. Yahya is amazing. There are some interesting concepts here, like the fact that like a superhero can't, is trying to get cast as a superhero, and maybe there's challenges in that. And it's one of those things that, I feel like people all the time of like, hey, get me this type of actor. And then that person goes in for the part and they're like, no, that's not what we're looking for. It's like, no, but I'm the guy you're describing. Like, I find the irony there interesting of, hey, a superhero is literally trying to go out for a superhero part and having an issues getting that. That's interesting, but that's not what this whole show is going to be about. It's going to be an element.
But that's one awesome joke within a joke, right? Like,
yes, there's
great. So many jokes within a joke already in this.
But that's in the trailer. And I don't know if I want to watch 8 episodes of that. Like, that's just a very, I don't know. This show's just not clicking with me. But I'm very happy that other people are digging it. So I hope it's good. I hope it's
Bri
good.
Wood said in the comments, because you made a crazy statement. Nobody is a Wonder Man fan. There are no Wonder Man fans.
Oh, no, you can't say that, because I'm a Cardiac fan and I exist. There is a Wonder Man fan out there.
Just flipping a Cardiac
and loves that
somebody
character.
Slapping their Wonder Man tattoo over their chest right now. Look,
I got a Darkhawk figure behind me.
Okay,
right? Like we can't eliminate it. There's a legion of Wonder Man fans out there.
I'm not
one of them.
There are dozens of us.
Yeah, we're getting sucked down into this. I don't want to get too sucked down in the Wonder Man trailer because we're kind of dragging already. But real quick, I mean, we're gonna be keeping up with this. It's coming out January 27th, so obviously we're gonna have a whole Wonder Man breakdown episode coming your way pretty soon. So look out for that. But I'm so interested to see where we all land when this is done. because I feel like it's going to be very different. The after picture is going to be very different from the before picture, but that's just my prediction. Real quick, Matt, I thought this was interesting since we all kind of love Squid Game, the challenge, or not Evan. He hates it, but we'll leave him out of this. But you're the fourth man in this. So the three of us, me, Janelle, and Matt, are big fans of Squid Game, the challenge, that reality show that Squid Game made. And now we're getting, because this brings up a timely conversation I was having, we're getting another one of these in a different franchise, Matt.
Yeah, Fallout is actually dipping into one of its games, just not the ones you're expecting, with Fallout Shelter, which is reportedly the basis for a new reality competition style show. That's going to kind of be the first spinoff, which is crazy to me that would be the first spinoff, but it actually makes a lot of sense. As I was writing this article, it actually made more and more sense to me that by the end of it, I went, okay, now I'm actually kind of I'm excited for it. I talked myself into this whole thing. But yeah, essentially, there's not much in details about it, but like everyone is going to have supposedly their own vault. And they're going to be Fallout Shelter, if you're not familiar, was a mobile game, and then it turned into a tabletop game where you had to run your own vault. So essentially, like, you're handling everybody's food and water, you're making sure to get electricity, you're upgrading the vault, so you're adding rooms that do different functions, you're having to defend the vault from other people, outsiders and things like that. Then you're also trying to make sure that the vault is a place where people want to procreate, because you are trying to increase the population. Wild game, super fun though, super fun game. So the fact that we're going to take that concept and make it a reality competition show, I don't know, it's kind of interesting. Like, what are the, like, how are you going to do that in like this like physical, whatever, 30-minute hour format? Is it going to be like the challenge where like you're literally doing it over the course of a season? Is it going to be kind of one-off, more like game show style where it's like a different group every hour, or however this thing is going to be formatted? I'm curious how they do that. But I do think the sustained thing over a season would be super interesting, right? Like, okay, today's challenge is for the vault is this, like, you have to go scrounge water for everyone, you got to go dig up wells, whatever you got to do. That's, I don't know, that's the basis for it. It's got potential. So I am curious very much.
I mean, I could see it. There's several ways to do it. I mean, you start out with your own vault, and then there's going to be other rooms, connecting rooms, things like that you go in and you have to compete for, to gain that territory. There could be other missions in the wasteland where you have to go up on some, playing field that's like decorated like a dystopia and complete some challenge and get back to your vault. There's all kinds of ways to do this. I'm here for it, because the reason I brought this up and thought this was interesting was because I had somebody text me and was like, yo, watching Fallout, I like this show a lot, but like, what is it actually about? And I was like, oh, vibes. And they were like, what does that mean? I was like, well, I was like, the Fallout game does have a point. It does have a lore. It does have like a kind of straightforward mission, but really it was just hanging out in this weird world and kind of like doing all this side stuff and seeing what kind of weird stuff was out there and discovering all these like crazy or freaky or scary things that were just kind of lurking out there in the wasteland as you kind of meander through this game is really the joy of Fallout. And I was like, I think the show gets that, like, where there are these overarching things happening, but they're not ever treated so seriously as each episode is just, hey, we're going to other freaky location and having to do like some side quest and some weird stuff is happening here. And it's just a whole weird vibes kind of experience. So I think in this reality show, just kind of nailing that aspect of it. Like, are you going to have people who are ghouls? Like, are you going to have like, all that? I think getting that kind of stuff right, the kind of just the freaky, weird aesthetic of Fallout and putting people through that is going to be the real joy of this.
Yep, I agree with you.
All right. Yeah.
I'm there.
Yeah, we're going to see this. Oh, we're going to be covering this. Don't worry about that. All right, we're going to take a quick break, but when we get back, it's the real meat of the show. We got to talk about the end of Stranger Things. And we got to talk about what we are hyped for 2026. So stay tuned. Stranger Things has come to an end. And we got to talk about it. So we are going to get into it. Let's just go. We are going to be talking full spoilers because it's one episode. And if you didn't watch it by now and you knew we were talking about it because it's in the title of this show, what is there to say? So do I want to jump first or do I want to jump last? Let's pass the ball. Evan, what did you think of the end of Stranger Things?
Oh, I really loved it. I thought it was a really emotionally well put together finale for the show. I thought that I thought that 11, the way that they handled 11's final story worked really well for me. I actually really appreciated the ambiguity of it. I'm a big I'm a big guy who doesn't necessarily want like everything having to be spelled out in stone. There were a couple things with the finale that I had a problem with. Mostly I felt that Linda Hamilton's storyline was kind of, forgotten about. I thought that the military aspect of it was kind of, could have been done a little better. But in all honesty, the send off for the kids was fantastic. I got personally everything I wanted in terms of here's what happens to these characters, here's what the future looks like for them. Yes, there is the possibility of spin-offs. I thought that there was some interesting stuff in terms of like the Montauk thing with Hopper and Will and John's mom. I thought that worked really well, but yeah, like not much to complain about. I almost wish I had seen this in the theater. I did watch it with my wife Lauren. We watched it the second it arrived on Netflix. But it was just a really strong finale. I thought it did a very good job of wrapping everything up and had a lot of just really great stuff for the show. So not like a solid A for me, I thought.
Janelle, what'd you think?
I adored this all the way up to like the conclusion. Are we spoiling?
Yes.
We already said we
Oh
are.
yeah. Mm-hmm.
So the end was just dragged out. Like I loved the battle scene. Like I loved taking down Vecna. I love the way that they wrapped everything up. It was a team effort. Like truly, there's just so much beauty in this show. It's so well done. But it just felt so disjointed again. Like it goes 18 months later, and I think that's the point. They're trying to say that everybody moved on, but to me, it wasn't successful because it didn't. Like I think they were trying to say, "Hey, look, everybody's good." They were like, just be happy for these characters, and then like I don't know. It was just strange to me. I was I was tired, and I was watching this. The four adults, kids, sitting there on the rooftop having conversations about how like they barely know each other anymore and they miss each other. I wasn't buying it. I'm like, no, you guys aren't friends anymore. Like you don't really care about each other, and that's okay. Go live your lives. But I don't need this long, drawn out conversation about it. Like, get to the kids. Like, tell me what's going on.
Was that about the kids? Like,
no, they were like doing their own thing. Like, I don't know. I just didn't feel any chemistry between them anymore. And, Steve obviously was like the only one I cared about in that situation. Like, what's he doing? And I don't know. I feel like 18 months is not a lot of time. And yet these people straight up turned into like full blown, like corporate job adults, like wearing 90 freaking like suits and weird hair. Like I don't know. I just feel like they tried too hard, like trying to like show, look, they've moved on. They're different. They all like look different and they're all acting different and they're in different parts of life. And I just didn't need it. I also didn't need the Hopper engagement situation. That was so awkward for me. I was just sitting there going, what are we doing here? Like this, you could have just ended it at killing Vecna, like done. And then I would have been like, whoa. But that whole thing, I was just kind of like, oh my God. I was looking at my phone going, okay, what time's I'm done. And then finally we got the wrap up with like the kids that we've followed all the way through. And I just wish they would have skipped all of that and just gone straight to them playing D&D and given me that ending, because that was beautiful. It was absolutely like moving. It made me cry. It wrapped things up. It told me, a possibility about Elle. Like it just was moving. But the other stuff was so forced and like just over the top. And like sometimes you don't need to like put a bow and tie it and finish the story. Like, I don't know. That was just me. I hate that I'm saying that and complaining about that because I absolutely loved this. I absolutely loved it. I just, that one part,
well, half of it,
magic out for me. Yeah, it just it kind of let the air out of the room, and I was like, and then
wow, I don't think I could be more diametrically opposed to everything you just said about this.
The proposal was so awkward.
I mean, the proposal is just a weird scene. But
yeah.
Again, I'll tie this into what I'm going to say. I thought this finale was ass, like just straight up. I mean, it was just straight ass. Like, as I think the first part was the worst part. Like, I think the final battle with Vecna was uninspired, so just by the numbers and straightforward. There was no twist. There was no surprises. There was no kind of like, I never felt like these characters were really in danger. This was the least amount of danger I felt they were ever in this entire series, was this so-called final battle. You guys are nuts. All of you are nuts. And I am livid that I've had to hear all these people going off about Star Wars and Marvel shows and green screen and blue screen. Are you all out of your minds? That Abyss entire sequence looked awful. Go back and watch everybody's hairline against the backdrop. That looked like ass. You all are lying. That looked like ass. The final battle was just the most underwhelming thing I have ever seen. Vecna was the least threatening. Listen, I'm going to put it to you like this. The heights of Stranger Things were in the fourth season. That was peak. That's the peak we were going to get to, besides the first season. I thought it was good in season 5, volume 1, but season 5, volume 1 is officially the place where this show ran out of actual juice, and then just it became about eating itself like a snake's tail with its own lore. By the time we're getting into season 5, volume 2, and they're bringing in the stage play and trying to make us swallow all that just confuses the shit out of like whether Henry Creel was the villain or Mind Flayer. And then I was talking to my neighbor about this. Then we got to get a whole monologue about we are one. Like, that has no point in this show except for the nerds who are like, but in the stage play, Mind Flayer influenced him. So really, he's not a bad guy. I mean, I just wrote an article about this for those nerds, like right before this dropped. And so when I saw a whole scene about it, that's basically my article, like spelled out in a monologue, I'm like, oh man, yeah, you guys are crazy. That final battle was such ass for a show with this much buildup, this big villains for this long, and it was over so quickly. And it just like, yeah, I mean, the best part about it, the only time, and I think this is just reflective of how bad it was, the most resonant emotional thing that happens is the montage you get when Nancy's chopping Vecna's head off, of all the people he hurt, of all the things he did, all those flashbacks of the show. That's like the only time you get any emotion out of this entire battle. There's never a moment where somebody dies, where they have to be inspired. Nancy running around with a gun, taking on a huge Mind Flayer was the stupidest thing I've seen. And I hope you guys clip and meme the hell out of that because it looked stupid as hell. Or, not Nancy cutting off the head. I always forget Winona Ryder's
Joyce.
Yeah, because it's a stupid name. Joyce chopping off the head. Thank you, chat. Nancy running around with the machine gun fighting a Mind Flayer was the stupidest thing I've ever seen, like, in a long time. It's right up there with like Book of Boba Fett and Homeboy doing the spin shot. Like, I don't want to hear any of you talking about blue screen or Marvel or Star. Like, shut the hell up. Like, this looked terrible. Stranger Things did not nail a cinematic level battle. And if you were seeing this in a movie theater, I get why you had to walk out and say, oh, yeah, that was worth it. but the big screen would have revealed even more. I watched this in a big screen in 4K. It looked bad. All right, now that's that. I will say I'm on the complete opposite end of Janelle. I was sitting there like,
wait, that wasn't that monologue? Wasn't your point? You have another point to get to?
Yeah.
You only got a 2-hour show?
Well, you shouldn't have said that, because now you're gonna look silly when I'm about to kill this ending now. Okay.
Jesus.
But here's what I think from what Janelle's analysis that I disagree with about the epilogue. When we got to the epilogue, because I'm going to tell you, the final battle of Vecna put me asleep the first time. So I had to wake up, go back, watch this episode again. And then I did, when I looked at it and was like, what is this whole other section? I actually got to see it kind of fresh faced. And I think the epilogue was the thing that made me emotional, not the Hopper Joyce scene. Again, that's from the stage play. That's because they were in school together. They even referenced that, oh, Hopper's smoking a joint, Joyce is over here, because they had a whole backstory from high school. Anyway, throw that out. But the rest of the scenes were great because they were meta scenes. Like the scene with all of them on the roof, it's not about the characters. It's the actors talking to each other saying, yo, we went through this whole journey together. Like, we were all changed this. Now we've all gone on. We're all out here with these kind of like different careers. Like, you know, it's a very meta conversation. And I actually appreciated that. Same thing with the D&D scene, which I agree is the better scene, because that made me kind of tear up, because that's about your friends. That's about growing up. That's about these things when you know you have to move on one day, and we've all been there. That is a coming of age, but this is a coming of age show. So I think if it just ended with the Battle of Vecna, like, no, you can't do that, because this is about these kids maturing and growing up and like what that's all about. And I think they did that part well. Like, I think all of the added kind of meta monologues at the end of this and the final shot of like the new batch of kids running down, playing D&D, like, yeah, that had a tear rolling down my cheek, because that was very beautiful. But I thought it was about all of these actors and growing up and what they've been through and all the kind of mess they've been through with this show over these years. And I thought all of that was well done. I was like, if you're going to Ocean's 12 this, like, at least you do it this way. But I think that the pacing was just off in this final season. I think we will always look at season 5, volume 2, and this final episode as just being these mismatched, mispaced kind of things that just didn't.
Wait, did it cut out? You good?
No, my mic fell out for a second there. I knocked my mic, but that was my ending anyway. But like, yeah, I just think it got too messy. Its lore, it started eating its own lore. It got too convoluted. And I think the actual fight and the payoff and the plan to stop Vecna was just too simple. But hey, overall, Stranger Things, I still think is a generational show. I think it's good. I'm not one of those people who throws out Lost or The Sopranos, or what was the other one I mentioned on Twitter? Lost. Oh, Game of Thrones, or any of those other shows, just because we didn't enjoy The Landing. Because I don't got to watch The Landing if I don't really want to. I can still watch, 3-4 seasons of great, 5.15 seasons of great Stranger Things. So that was me. I know a lot of you loved it, but I'm going to stand on this one. Matt, go off. The chat said go off.
No, between you and Janelle, I was like, oh, we loved it, but here's all the crap that's wrong with it. I don't know. Man, I feel like that's a different definition of love than we need.
I said, reminder, ass was what I said. Ass.
No,
but I liked the meta epilogue. It made me emotional.
And then you said all the reasons in the second part, which I'm like, well, then how did you not see the scenes that happened in the first hour? Because that stuff's in there too. Like, there's a whole conversation that's had between Steve and Jonathan that I love. Like, those character moments are all throughout the first, before we even get to the fight. So I'm just like, what? Yeah.
Well, I was screaming kiss. I was screaming kiss at the screen, and they never did. So I got mad at that.
Yeah. My word. Okay. So anyway, I really enjoyed this. I'll come out and say that here. I think just like the thing that stands out to me with Janelle's point specifically is that I really enjoyed the battle. There were moments in there like that it wasn't about that whether or not I did figure more people would die, to be honest, in the season finale than did ultimately. But it wasn't a thing of like, oh, well, I feel like everyone's got Teflon. I didn't feel that at all throughout that especially throughout that like second half of the first hour. I didn't feel that at all. I felt tension. I felt that at least one person would go, and I was actually quite surprised when they didn't. But I did also needed the second half. For a Stranger Things fan, for the long haul, that second hour is important. That second hour is what it's all about, really. Is all of the D&D was an amazing ending to that. Also that it tied into, Max actually jumping in more and more and her getting excited and stuff. If you've been watching from the beginning, like that's like there's ties and changes and arcs to all of this throughout almost every sequence. When the older kids are having their talk, I actually looked over at Anissa and was like, I'm so glad they gave them their time, because it would have been very easy to go just for the younger kids and have the graduation be that. But the fact that they gave them their time, and I don't know, I feel like it's one of those things where when we don't necessarily remember the jump from high school to college and those years that happen after that, but like life does happen that fast. I like you turn around and it is completely different. I wasn't even living in the same state. I was around people I didn't know all within a year, and actually all within like 6 months. So like time happens fast and you can lose friendships very quickly. And as someone who's been like very much like, I haven't lived in the same state as a lot of my friends for years and years and years, but I still keep in contact with them and I still have close ties to some of them. And like that, you can fall out of that very easily just because of life. And so I love that they all have their own little individual things, but they come together and they are trauma bonded in a way, right? Forever. And so they acknowledge that. And like to what Kofi did say, which I agree with, I didn't agree with 80% of that, but I agree with that, is that the moments where they're talking as actors, they really are. It comes across in almost every single way, especially during the graduation, right? When like Dustin's talking to the crowd, you see he's talking to the cast. He's talking to his friends that he's made on this journey. And also just to see Dustin, who is like my favorite character in the show, have this completely arc of like, he is now Hellfire Forever was amazing. He's now cool. He's now the edgy cool nerd, which by the way, we've seen happen in our day and age of media. Nerds, who Kofi evidently doesn't like anymore, but nerds are the reason we're on the show, right? Like we're all nerds. So we became the cool kids at one point somehow.
That's so cool.
We didn't used to be. It's the whole trajectory of this damn show. So I don't know. Like
did you see like the side by side?
Nerds going back in the lockers in 2026, bro.
Because
of this nerd stuff got out of control. The whole jungle's out of control. Because of the nerd stuff being out of control, we got 4chan. Because of 4chan, now we got all these streamers talking all this nonsense. Because they're not getting their asses beat and stuffed in lockers. And in 2026, we're taking this back. Geek Chic's dead. I'm gonna kill it. We're starting right here. I'm Nas. Hip hop is dead.
Nerds are parents now, and they don't have to be idiots about things.
Did you see the like thing of Eddie basically saying like, when I graduate, I'm gonna get on stage, I'm gonna look at the principal, I'm gonna flick him off, like, and he did that. He did everything that Eddie.
All of it.
I was just passing that on to. Actually, I just put that in the comic book chat. We gotta write that up. It's an Easter egg. Yeah.
I loved seeing it. I saw like a tweet where they like showed what he was saying. Like they showed Eddie's monologue and then they showed, our dude doing all of that. It was so cool.
Yeah, I got it makes I'm a professional plotter.
Like the shield that Eddie had is the one that Dustin gives to Steve. It's the one they gave him at the end, right? All those little things play out. All the Will stuff I loved in this.
Loved the Will stuff.
So I don't know what show everyone else was watching. I watched.
No, I loved that. I don't want to like get it twisted. I really did like it.
2 hours.
I
said, you're
like that
twisting
one
me
part
up too. I said the battle was ass, but all the ending resonant meta stuff was great. I said
yes,
that.
But the meta stuff was in the battle too. So you can't disjoint one from the other is my point.
That's a good point.
That is
no, I can. Oh, yes, I can. The battle,
production
on the battle.
Evan, welcome.
I didn't say that the battle. I didn't say the dialogue in the battle was bad. I said the
middleman. between
was
those two.
The production was bad and the narrative was bad. Like there were no twists and turns. This was the most basic fight with Vecna we've seen in the series.
Yes,
like
I agree.
this is.
That was...
I'm a giant contradiction. That's called human.
Yes, you are. The whole thing had a giant contradiction.
Humans are contradictions. When are the rest of you going to learn that? Like we are all contradictions.
I'm going to rewatch this. And,
if you don't believe, if you don't know what a kink is, guys, a kink is a sign of your contradictions as a human. By day, you're like, and then by night, you're like, that's your contradiction as a human. Okay.
Can I say something freaky though? My husband looks like the actor that played Vecna, and it kept freaking me out because I would next to me and like, I'm like, oh my God, you look like him. I'm freaked out. Like I don't feel comfortable right now. It was scaring me. Vecna scared me.
But because of human contradiction, you were also like, but also give me a kiss. Take over my mind.
I can't believe I'm the most positive one on this finale. How is that possible? How did that happen?
You're not. I loved it. That's not.
Matt is the most unabashed. He's the king. Like Matt loves Stranger. I mean, he is our Stranger Things like guy. Like I was always middle of the road until it came out, and then I think Janelle's kind of like me. Like we're kind of like when it comes out, we're like then we're kind of like when it's gone. But no, Matt's always been the like he probably has like a Demon Gorgon merch somewhere or something. Like who knows? But see,
oh man, I need one of those.
So he's always locked in.
Amazing.
No, but again, overall, let's just pull this back. Let's just stop with the finale because we could be going in circles forever. But overall, how do we feel about this show? And I put up on the comic book forum, and you should be over there talking with us. You saw the topic I posted, which was gauging after this finale, are you still in with the franchise as it expands? So let's go around. I am still in with the franchise as it expands. Matt?
I commented on that very thread, and I said I'm very much in for the spinoffs. And I'm in for this world, even though Nick Valdez is a hater.
So, all right, Evan.
I don't know. I guess it's gonna entirely depend on what the spinoff is. I think
we got time for yeses or nos.
Okay. No. Then.
Okay, there we go. And Janelle.
Yes, because I love the content, but I'm afraid of like them watering down this ending.
Okay. All right. So there we go. Let us know what you guys think over on the comic book forum where we have this topic right up there. Talk to us about Stranger Things, about the finale, about the future. Come and just chat with us there because we don't have time to do it too much more here. We got a whole hype meter to get to. All right. So let's move on. Let's talk about this year in front of us. We're going to go around. I think this time we're just going to go through 3 times. And we're going to let everybody cook on one thing and then come back around. But we're going to start up front with the thing we're obviously all most hyped for in 2026. We took this out of the running, which is, of course, Avengers Doomsday. So Doomsday is arriving in December. That's obviously, if not one of the most hyped film of the year. And Again, I wasn't for a while. I was very kind of vague on how you top all this in top Endgame. But if, like I said, I have the caveat of thinking I've narrowed down some of these leaks to the real stuff. And what I've seen in there makes me think the Russos can pull this off. That not only will this be a spectacle of just like untold proportions where they pull things you never even thought they would pull out to show you on screen, character reveals, crossovers, things like that. But I think there's going to be I think this story could potentially hit harder than Infinity War in terms of really making you see every side. There are no bad guys except for even Doom will be a complicated character. But is everybody just trying to fight for their own world survival, right? And that's a powerful, crazy story to tell. Like, who lives, who dies, why, and can anybody save their world or themselves? And what happens when different worlds have to collide, like the leader put up. And I think that is going to add real emotion and stakes to this that we didn't see necessarily, that's deeper than like a Thanos smash and grab, kill half the universe story. So I'm excited for that. How about you guys?
You know?
Yes, I'm very excited. I feel I'm on the same page with you, Kofi. I was very timid. I would say I didn't want to get my hopes up, and I was nervous about what was going to happen. And I was comparing, which I'll get into later. I was comparing these drops from Marvel to the DC trailers that we've received, and I was I don't know. I didn't have faith. But now, after seeing these two, and honestly, like listening to you guys talk about it as kind of like experts and kind of I don't know, kind of gauging the fan base, I am way more excited about this. And I'm so nervous to get my hopes up, but I have very high hopes, and I'm not as scared about what's going to happen. I'm optimistic. I'm not as excited for it though as some other things.
So yeah, I mean, remember, we got to crib this whole thing in how hyped we are. So you're not that hyped.
I'm not as hyped. I'm pretty freaking hyped, but there are things that I am more hyped for.
So you're not underwhelmed, you're not overwhelmed, you're just whelmed.
Exactly. Yeah.
All right. Matt, how are you feeling about Doomsday?
After Cyclops, the X-Men had me hyped.
Okay.
Yeah, keep it succinct, right? Yeah.
All right, Evan.
I talked a lot in the other segment, so I'm trying to get
no, it's all good.
I'm far more hyped than with the arrival of the Thor and the X-Men trailers. I think if anybody can pull this off, it's the Russo brothers, and I think that it's going to surprise all of us. I think it's going to surprise me, and I was really I was a little more down on the project than I was expecting following the Chris Evans stuff. But yeah, I'm hyped for this, I think.
All right. So, I mean, that's an easy one to get out of the way. But now we get to the real meat and potatoes. What did each of us choose as our hype picks? So let's go around the room. First, we're going to start back around just as it's listed. Janelle, give me something you're hyped for in 2026.
I'm going to start with the thing that I'm most hyped for, and this is the Supergirl Woman of Tomorrow. I'm so glad that you let me go first because I had all these backups in case you guys picked these, because I know we're going to share a lot of these. But this, I am just so happy to be a comic book reader. And when I read this book, I just absolutely loved it. And this is truly probably one of my favorite comics I've ever read. And I know that's a really big thing to say, but I don't have this very big, extensive library. And this is up at the top for me. And I am just so happy with the trailer that we just got, or I guess we did get before. I guess just got. What is time these days? I'm very pumped about the casting with Millie. I was a little nervous. I think that everything is well done with this. And this is kind of prior to the X-Men trailer release with Doom. This is the kind of trailer and like teaser kind of stuff that is really working for me. And so, yeah, this one I'm pumped about. Absolutely stoked. Like, I'm like, I got to do Supergirl cosplay. Like, I'm just so excited.
Yeah. Heck yeah.
Okay.
Great pick.
Who's next?
Oh, is it me? Oh, it's me. Okay. I am going to go. Well, it's not really a secret. I am a huge Green Lantern fan. Next year is a big one. It's a long time coming. Just like we're going to get Cyclops in gear, we're going to get a Lantern show that hopefully people can get excited about and get behind, and it can showcase how cool these characters in this mythology are. It's Lanterns is shaping up to, it looks great so far. I'm excited to actually get like a full trailer for this thing. But hopefully, fingers crossed, this show delivers and we can coast and really see. Guy Gardner was a great start. Nathan Fillion did a great job with Guy Gardner. I'm excited to see what we can do with Hal and John and start to really build this corner of the universe out. Because it is huge and there are so many great characters, and I'm excited for people to get to see that. I hope this delivers. So yeah, Lanterns is my top hype for next year.
Okay, Evan, what's up?
Yeah, I'm going to go against the grain and take us out of the safe area of superheroes and right into the spooky area of horror. In 2025, there was a movie that hit a lot of the film festival circuits that I have really been super interested to see. They released a trailer for it. It's Curry Barker's Obsession. For those of you who don't know about this one, this has a very easy premise. The premise is a young teenager makes a wish on a cursed object that his crush loves him more than anything else in the world. And apparently, this goes about as wrong as you could possibly think. I loved the trailer for this because it was just the image of this kid crying in a car, talking with the people who made this cursed object, and wondering how he can undo it. And apparently, from everything I've heard, this goes to insane lengths in terms of just how obsessed. I think about that effort for fans of Buffy the Vampire Slayer. I think about that one episode where Xander made the wish where every woman in the world loves him. And that becomes a horrifying experience. And I think that this is everything I've heard about this movie has me really excited to see it. So yeah, that's one of the things. That's my most anticipated horror movie of next year is Obsession. Can't wait to see it. Comes out in May.
All right.
Kofi,
it's you, I think, right?
Sorry, I was you got me now. I was just happened to be scrolling past the Obsession trailer as you picked that one. And I was like, oh, now I got to look at it. And then I just sucked into that trailer. That's crazy. I think that one's gonna be nuts. That just sounds nuts. We're gonna see some stuff. I'm taking us to a lighter place, and I'm gonna be unusually light and say I am pumped for the return of Star Wars to the big screen in 2026 with The Mandalorian and Grogu. It looks, hey man, I've heard all the criticisms. It looks like a overblown Mandalorian episodes, but I've seen this trailer on the big screen several times now and my movie theater outings. And you know what? That's all I really need. It looks fun. It looks like it's going to be visually what I want from Star Wars. And it looks like we're going to have a good time in the movie theaters with Star Wars again in a way that feels relatively safe to deliver a good, just all around time. I'm looking forward to seeing some improved Grogu puppetry, seeing Jeremy Allen White playing Jabba the Hutt's son, and all of the other fun things I know will have pop up in this Zeb Aurelios, maybe a crossover with the Rebels cast. There's a lot of potential fun to be had in this film. And I'm just excited to go to a theater and hang out with, Pedro Pascal's Din Djarin and Grogu for a couple hours. This is going to be dope. So that's a positivity start for me. We're keeping it light and positive in 2026. All right, we're back around. Janelle, what do you got? So we're going to go, I think we're going down in scale, but that's fine. We can start to move quicker and concisier as we're making our picks here.
So another film that I'm very excited about is actually the new Mortal Kombat that is focused on Johnny Cage. This a fun fact about me, the original, like the 90, I think it was 95 or 97 version was like my favorite movie ever for a very long time. I cosplayed as Scorpion for Halloween. I think that this is going to be such a fun movie. It's not going to be as silly as like Street Fighter, which I'm also really excited about, but it looks really good. It looks very well done. And I love that there's a clear story. We're following this actor, this washed up actor, where I love Johnny Cage. I've always loved Johnny Cage. So the focus being on him. I love that take. And I think it's gonna be fire. It also releases on my birthday, so it gives me something fun to do.
All right, Evan or Matt. It's Matt next. Sorry.
I'm gonna go to the realm of comics, and I'm going to next year. Look, it's been a little bit of a rough year for Marvel. In terms of comics this year, but or last year now I can say, but 2026 is shaping up to be pretty big with new creators coming in. And Joshua Williamson, who we have adored his work on Superman, and I mean, geez, dude's writing like half the DC books and G.I. Joe, and is doing such a great job over there. He is going to be doing an Iron Man run that I am very excited about. I'm not like the biggest Iron Man person. But I have enjoyed certain runs of Iron Man over the years, and Williamson's idea of getting to like how he's bringing in AIM into this and the idea of what they're looking for, as opposed to just kidnapping Tony Stark or trying to bring him in or whatever. They're trying to make their own and all of that. That's very interesting. There's a lot of really cool ideas there. And just what he's done on Superman and revitalizing that character and the supporting cast and the side stories and all that. I'm excited for him to do the same with Iron Man. So very excited for that this year.
That's a Matt pick. I love it, though. That is a great pick. Great comic pick. Evan, what do you got next?
Yeah, this one. So my next two picks, I'll start with this one because this one's my next two picks actually are a few days away. But my most anticipated thing for 2026 is Adult Swim's Primal Season 3. Primal is one I thought about it. And I think that Primal is my favorite animated series of all time. I love it so much. Every single panel is a gorgeous, like, I was thinking, like, man, every single thing that Genndy Tartakovsky does in that show, I could make a tattoo of. And I think eventually I might get a tattoo or something of it. I've been thinking about getting a new one. The season 3 airs later this month. It brings back Spear as a zombie, which is something that kind of a lot of people, myself included, were kind of like, man, is this going to be able to work? How is this going to do? But based on Tartakovsky's track record, I could not be more hyped for this. I cannot wait to talk about it here with everybody and just see the reactions to it in general. Primal is such an experience. I love it so much. Yeah, can't wait.
To enter the chat, yeah, Primal's back. I'm thinking
Primal's back. Next January 11th, I think it starts.
All right, my second pick, I'm going to take us into something that most people are not going to have jump to the forefront of their mind. Look, guys, there's a lot I could have picked here. Yes, Dune 3 is coming out. Odyssey is coming out. There's a new Hunger Games movie that I think is going to be good. Like, all of these are but they're obvious picks, right? So they're things that they're easy to get hyped for. Just echoing hype is not what we're trying to do here a little bit. So I'm going to tell you something I'm hyped for because I want to help you get more hyped for it. And that is going to be the Clayface movie from DC Universe, directed by Mike Flanagan. So Clayface is coming out on September 11th, no less. And I think this one is going to be a dark horse hit. I think both the DC movies this year could really solidify how DC is going to masterfully be able to weave this content through many different lenses, whether it's kind of like this idiosyncratic kind of character study like Supergirl or this dark horror character study like Clayface, two characters nobody would have picked off the shelf to help launch a franchise, but I think both could be great with these creative visions. So we know Flanagan, Dr. Sleep, Fall of House of Usher, Haunting of Hill House, like all of that. Mike Flanagan's like one of the best horror drama storytellers like out right now. Mm-hmm. And I think we read Clayface One Bad Day many years back and we're like, yo, movie time. And if they do even half of what that book captured in terms of what was it? That one's about Boris. Was that about Boris or is that about? Yeah, that was about Boris.
Yeah, that was about Boris.
Mm. Yeah, so just taking, again, I don't know why it's a theme today, but this idea of like the struggling or washed up actor and the lengths people will go to for fame in this kind of day and age, like this could be a really good movie and a really terrifying movie and put Clayface on the map in a way that we've never seen before. So I'm here for that. All right, Janelle, take us around last spin around the block.
That was I totally forgot about Clayface. So heck yes, that was a good pick. Mine is TV and mine is a little bit more lighthearted because I was one of the people that thought that the show would not continue on. And when I found out that we're getting another season of Ted Lasso, I got very, very, very excited. This basically gives me faith in our world and humanity in general. And there are very few shows or movies that do that for me these days. So I'm absolutely pumped to see this back. This is such an easy watch for me. This is truly one of my favorite shows. And I don't know what's going to go on here because he's leaving. So the last we heard from him, he's leaving to go coach in America. And most of the whole, like the big cast, all of our favorites are coming back. They've been confirmed. So that makes me really joyful. And I'm excited to see where it goes.
And good picks. Good picks. All right. Very nice. Also, I have not caught up on Ted Lasso, but I keep seeing reels of it, and I need to go back and like actually catch up. It's like it's invaded my reel. Such a good show. My last pick is actually going to be. It was just brought up actually in the chat by All in the Game. Narnia is in Greta Gerwig I trust, right? Barbie was fantastic. I have, if you can take that property and do such a wonderful job of like bringing out like calling in like legacy and what it is to be all the like wonderful female themes in that movie and weave all those together with an iconic toy property and do all that, then I am eager to see what she can do with. I love the books. I loved the previous run of Narnia, that trilogy. Even though kind of, started to waver towards the end of it there, I still really enjoy what they did with that. And if anyone can kind of crack that code to make that special and relevant to a new generation of fans, it is her. There's a lot of great TV stuff that I'm intrigued by next year, but I don't know if it's going to quite make next year. And this one's supposed to tail end. We'll see if that happens. It could end up getting delayed, but I'm excited for Narnia.
Yeah, and I would be remiss if I didn't end my recommendations by getting into the world of anime. This month for me, work-wise, is going to be the most insane month of all time because there are a million major anime that are coming back this month. Jujutsu Kaisen, Frieren, Beyond Journey's End, Fire Force, just so many different things to recommend. And actually, like, I was thinking about it. Originally, I was going to go with recommending Jujutsu Kaisen Season 3. And I would love, Kofi, have you read? Because I know you're also a manga head. Have you read Jujutsu Kaisen? Have you checked that out?
Can't keep that thing. Nah, man, the lore is too crazy. Like the lore around the villain and stuff. I started the flashbacks. I was like, I'm out. You guys lost me. Yeah.
So originally that was going to be my recommendation, but the more I thought about it, the more I had to get to my roots, and I had to recommend Bakido. For those who do not know, there is a anime that I love that is called Baki the Grappler. Oh my god, I love it so much. It's one of my favorite animated things of all time. And the way that I sell it to people, Baki the Grappler is the story of the strongest creature in the world. And it's actually celebrating its 35th anniversary this year. But this series in particular, if I could just break down really quickly a fight that happens in the series. There is one fight in the series where Mike Tyson, yes, really Mike Tyson, in the anime series, fights against triplets and is saved by Che Guevara. This is like literally, it's insane. I love it. In this season, Baki fights against a resurrected ancient swordsman, Mayashi. It's Mayashi Miyamoto, I believe.
Yeah, you don't need to drop that name, dog. I don't think many of us are gonna make it to this. Yeah. You can just give us the overshort.
Yeah. In the past, this series has had Baki fight against a caveman named Pickle. Has had him fight against just insane a giant praying mantis. Guys, I cannot stress enough how much I love this series. I cannot wait for it to come back. Bakido comes back 2026. There's my recommendation. Can't wait.
Okay, there you go. Yeah, thank you for dropping Homeboy's name, but I don't think I'm going to retain. Just to close it out, on the TV front, I have some highly anticipated. Obviously, The Boys' final season is coming this year. Paradise Season 2, I don't think we said enough about Paradise in that show because it was early last year or early in 2025, and it kind of just faded from our memory, but Paradise is coming back, which should be exciting for where we left that. But on the TV front, my most anticipated is back to the world of Game of Thrones, not House of the Dragon, however, but A Knight of the Seven Kingdoms, which, again, I think is going to be more interesting and a talking point. It's so hard to describe this show because of what it's really doing and what it's really setting up, and how much of a kind of slow burn story they are setting up with this, and how this first season is really just the launch pad to the real story of this time. But I think it's going to be a wonderful counterpoint to House of the Dragon, and fleshing out the Game of Thrones franchise, and fun on like the Wolf Cub type level. So I'm excited to see what people think when the show kind of opens up and reveals more about what it's really doing here. So that is my most anticipated. That should round us all out. I hope we've nailed some things that will help you get hyped for some content in 2026. To close out the show, we always let Matt rock on his agenda, and today he's got some New Year's heads up for you. Matt, run it through, end the show. See everybody next week.
Oh, okay. I was going to do the comics, but I was going to do
comics. Oh man, right.
Okay, but I will scratch mine for next week because I do want to, real quick before Janelle has to go. I'm curious because Scarlet Witch, we have a new Sorcerer Supreme, and I know Doctor Strange is your person, and he's been like, he's still doing stuff in Asgard. I don't know what the hell it is. But, in any case, we got a new Sorcerer Supreme, and is Scarlet Witch. I'm really curious what you thought of this, because I thought they did some really cool stuff in the realm of magic, and like Scarlet Witch is really just doing her own thing.
I have a question. Is this the first book in her thing, or because I felt a little lost. Like there's a lot going on.
She had
the first book in this series. Of the Sorcerer Supreme. However, it is essentially a carryover from the previous two that have been Steve Orlando's Scarlet Witch series. So she's running the store. She's got everybody, the cast has been moved over. So it is essentially a continuation of that book, but now she is the Sorceress Supreme.
I feel if I had that knowledge, this would have been very fun and exciting, because you'd see familiar faces in the mirrors, but I was a little overwhelmed. First of all, lots of text, so a lot of reading.
There's a lot of magic mumbo jumbo in this one.
Exactly. And which I'm about. I love that. But if I don't have the context, and I obviously don't get the excitement, oh, look, here's this person, here's that person. It lost me. I got a little lost, but I didn't mind being lost because she's so hot. She is absolutely hot. She is a smoking hot character here. Her outfits are insane. She's just gorgeous. I love her. I wish I was gonna message you and be like, hey, can you send me whatever was dropped before this so that I can really chew on it. I would love to know, as someone who is more familiar with everything and what was happening, what your thoughts were on this one.
The thing I think is most interesting is that for every other Sorcerer Supreme, aside from Doom, the Vishanti have chosen that person.
Right.
I think the coolest concept is that she's literally going, the actual elements and the Eye of Agamotto and all that stuff chose her. Yeah. So the actual items and the mystical items chose her instead of them, and they're pissed about that. And her just telling them to kick rocks and be like, I'm the Sorcerer Supreme, whether you like it or not. And then how that brings in Agatha and all that. I just think that central thing there is actually really interesting, really cool, kind of feeds into the kind of edgier, Scarlet Witch is willing to take chances and do things that Doctor Strange never was. Which is seen through Wong's dialogue here, right? So that core stuff is really interesting. The first half of it very much reads if you've been reading that other Scarlet Witch series, you'll feel right at home with Dormammu and all that stuff. Again, with a power upgrade. So that was cool. But I just think the central premise of moving forward and how she's going against the grain of everything that has been established for a Sorcerer Supreme is really cool. And even working with her, her council and stuff. I just think there's a lot of cool ideas there. And it's been a minute since I've been excited for I wasn't really excited for the Doom stuff. Even before that, Doctor Strange was doing some weird things, and he died before that. It's just there's been a lot going on that I haven't really cared for. And even the Clea stuff, the Clea stuff it hit okay, but they kind of lost the plot. So anyway, lots of stuff going on, but I thought this was a cool launch. But I know, Kofi, did you not dig it?
I mean, I have liked what they've done shuffling the Magic world around in Marvel. I feel like there's this thing where they can't ever commit to how they want to do the female like Magic users and like how they want to position them. Like you said, I thought Clea was going to get a much longer run. I thought it was going to be a much more developed character and like a longer stay. I was interested when that book started. I was also interested in Scarlet Witch finding her own way, opening the store, doing the Moon Knight thing, and kind of being like, you know, screw all these people who've used me and doing all this stuff. Now I'm just going to be me. And I like that about Wanda. I thought this one was just a little convoluted for a first issue. Like it was just a lot of Magic politicking. There's like that slight battle, but like when you got things in motion, I really liked it. Like how she uses the magic. I like the way they're using magic. Like when she channels it through herself in that panel of Dormammu getting like blown right through her, all pauses do, but like, yeah. And then her being like, now you feel like all this pain and stuff. Like that's clever. Like that. I like my magic stuff. Like I like my Star Trek. You can spit mumbo jumbo at me. It just has to make a loose sense of logic in my head, how you got out of this problem, how you did this thing, you know, and then we can keep it moving. So like, I love the part where she proves to be smarter about, you know, these physical objects were destroyed, but physical is only one realm and we're playing 4D chess here. So there's this other way to recapture their essence, reconstitute the physical form. Like that's the magic stuff that I love. I'm like, it's a little bit sciencey, it's a little bit mumbo jumbo, but in metaphysical, and I love that stuff. So if you gave me an issue of her just like in a metaphysical realm solving that problem and having to fight off Dormammu or something, like that'd be a hell of an issue. Obviously we are, like, as Janelle kind of stumbled on, we're in the midst of a much deeper, longer saga that's been run by Orlando through these books. And so we are building and building and building layers here. And so there's already this complicated politic at work. But again, this is a jumping in issue. And we always have the debate about first issues. This felt more like a good issue too. But I would have kept it more straightforward. Like, have to reconstitute physical objects of these powerful artifacts that chose me and are crying out for help. Dormammu's in my way. Got to get through Dormammu, get to these things, reconstitute them. I step out, looking sharp with my eye and my cloak. Oops, Vishanti are here. They got a problem with all this. Now we go into issue 2. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, I would paste it that way, just to give people the solo focus of Wanda, how she uses magic, why she's smart, how her not breaking, but thinking outside of these rigid rules helps her to do things and all of that. So I got what they were going for. I thought it was just packed in there with a lot of other stuff, but not bad. And Orlando is, on the whole, doing more with this than anybody's done in years. So, like, let's keep the bigger picture in focus.
For sure.
I was rooting for, originally when they announced that they were going to have a new Sorcerer Supreme, I was kind of rooting for Magic with a K to be the next Sorcerer Supreme, because I thought that would have been a really cool connection with the X-Men. But I did appreciate Orlando was really thinking outside of the box on a lot of this, and I thought the idea of having a council to help Wanda in terms of like why didn't Doctor Strange do that? It's kind of dumb that he didn't. Like you have so much responsibility that having a council. I think having Sithin on the council isn't the best idea in the world.
That's a cool, that's a cool twist.
But I love that cool, because Wanda, what I love about the book is, you remember, Wanda has been a villain, right? like, and she knows, and so her whole, they don't just do it, they have a logic. She's like, I think, because I'm stealing that line, she says, she's like, if you present somebody with like a closed fist, they're going to react one way, but when you put an open hand out and you know that person's a POS, you know they're going to try to spit in the hand, like, you just wait for it. Yeah. And now, like, I'm just going to wait for that. I know he's going to try to do this, but I can use that.
Better to have an eye on him. Yeah, I thought that really worked. I thought that this was kind of a strong showing of a first issue for kind of showing how Wanda is going to be a different Sorcerer Supreme from Strange and obviously Doom. And kind of, I'm excited to see where it goes in the future. That being said, I do wish Dr. Voodoo had gotten more time as Sorcerer Supreme. Yeah. I'll always kind of say, man, I do wish that he had gotten more time as the main Marvel guy. But I digress. I'm excited to see what they do with
They can't make up their minds.
they keep swapping it out, but yeah, we'll see.
All right. Do we want to touch on Ultimate Endgame at all, or do we need to roll?
We got to roll, but I got to roll. But that last panel was crazy. I don't know what to think anymore. I was with it up until then. I mean, it boggles the mind, but yeah, I mean, it's pulling everybody together. This was an okay first issue. Like I said, that last panel's crazy. That last panel was crazy.
I'm just sad it's ending, man. I really think that the Ultimate Universe has way more gas in the tank that they could do.
Yeah, Wolverine, Spider-Man, Spider-Man cross. Like, there's so much we could have done, and it is kind of frustrating.
Yeah.
So let's not end on a bad note. Let's end on a positive note for 2026.
Yay!
All right. Yeah. 2026. We are hyped. Matt, do you want to get your agenda off before we close out?
No. I just want to. I'll just leave you with this.
All right.
There you go. That's the most positive note.
Cute.
This campaign has come to an end, but is also just the beginning of another. We will be back next week for more Season 8. We are Comic Book Nation. We are the only show that does it all for geek culture, from anime to gaming to TV to movies, everything. We even get sometimes a little Cinema Nation here and get a little haughty-taughty. And sometimes we might even throw some music in the mix just because we got thoughts. But all right, we want to thank everybody who woke up for the chat this morning. We know it's still kind of on that holiday. Time has no meaning. So we appreciate you guys showing up in the chat. Shout out to all our regulars, from Juden to Brywood to Damon to Sir Glean to everybody in between, all in the game. I know I could keep going on and I'm going to miss people, but if I missed you, I'm sorry. I'll get you in the coming weeks. All right. Thank you to my co-hosts for waking up on this holiday. Thank you to our engineers. You don't see them, but producer Pete and Rich are always in the background, keeping our show running. And I'm sorry it's taken 8 years of your life and counting, but we will be keeping on. We are Comic Book Nation. Let's get out of here. Peace. Deuces.